politics, business, sports, arts, music. Mike and Marty on the beat. Mike and Marty. Mike and Marty on the beat. Mike and Marty. Mike and Marty on the beat. Mike and Marty.
Good morning, Bellows Falls and Keene, and welcome to the feed. It's Mike. Marty is off on vacation, a well-deserved vacation this week, but she'll be back in a couple weeks, and we'll get back to, and maybe she'll tell us where she went. Today we have Marcella Eversole and Janice Lurie-Jones with us today when we talk about local food matters, but first some local events. Playing this weekend at the Opera House is Bad Guys 2. A sequel to the acclaimed Bad Guys 1, I guess. But it's an animated feature. It looks like a lot of fun, and you should check it out. Also, tonight, the classic movie is Milk, the Harvey, I forgot his name, Milk, right? Story of the person who was in California who was a LGBTQ advocate, and it's a tragic story, but it's good. Tomorrow night we have a special called Puppy Love. It's a story of rescued puppies and what they did and how they survived. The producer is going to be there to take questions afterwards. It's supposed to be a very heartwarming show. Coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend is the Flannel Festival, and there's going to be a pie contest, and everyone should join. I'm thinking I might get in there and do that. How about you guys? No.
How could you resist the Flannel Festival?
Yeah,
Come on.
All right.
I'm in.
Okay, good. Also, they're looking for volunteers for the Flannel Festival, so you might want to go to the Chamber site and check it out, and if you want to volunteer, you can sign up there. On the 30th of October, there's going to be a haunted house down at the Opera House, and we're going to be talking about that maybe next week. But that's it for that. Okay. Local food matters.
It does.
It does. This is really a big project. I guess you guys are the tip of the iceberg. That's how I would say it. Because I didn't realize, you sent me a write-up, and there's quite a history, and it's been going on for a long time, and maybe you could help fill us in.
Sure, yes. So Local Food Matters really has come out of a lot of community building and development over the last decade. People have really, in our area and region, have always cared about food, growing food, healthy food, and local food. And so the efforts of that community building from so long ago have been creating different projects. One of them is the Great Falls Food Hub, which is just over down at the train station. And now that people are actually looking at what could be developed in that area, it's now time to start talking to the community about what would they want when it comes to local food, equipment, manufacturing, and those types of services that could really actually help farms and growers bring more local food into our region.
Yeah. So this is also sort of in concert with or in cooperation with the co-op that's coming? Is that right? Or am I misspeaking?
No, yes. So the Great River Co-op, which was also a project that started long ago and had a lot of stops and starts, they actually shifted to having new board members last year. And so the folks that had been generating that project sort of put down or passed on the mantle, I should say, and some new folks, some farmers and people in the region kind of picked up the mantle, and so now they're also contributing to this public engagement program to help learn more about what the actual community wants and needs. The first part of that really is the farmer, grower, food production side of it. So that's really what we're focused on right now, and then down the road, the more retail distribution side will be focused on.
Yeah. So Janice, is that where you sort of came into this, or?
It is. I got inspired to join this group because I love all things local foods.
Yeah.
And
farming.
And farming, right. And my main motivation was just to see more community surrounding local food and creating a local infrastructure to help all the farmers and food producers have an audience, a larger audience, let's say, to share their food with.
Yeah. So would you say this grew from your experience at the farmers market? Was that a group that sort of brought things together, or?
I would say that it definitely was a part of growing the local food system, for sure. And now this particular project is looking to grow the local food system with deeper and longer roots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What would you say the geographic area that you're talking about? Are you talking, I'm asking, I guess.
Yeah, sure. So we're looking at, of course, the Bellows Falls area and then Rockingham as well. But we're also looking at both sides of the river here.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Walpole, Alstead, even as far north as Claremont, and as far Charlestown's
Yeah,
north.
Charlestown South.
Yeah,
It's north of us,
north.
but south of Claremont.
Right, thank you. And down to Keene, and then we're looking at including folks as far up as Lebanon down to Brattleboro.
Wow, that's really amazing. There is quite a group. We were talking earlier about Putney, that there's that Route 30, almost, I don't know what you'd call it. There's like 3 or 4 farm shops that are out there that are really amazing. I've enjoyed going to them in the times.
Yeah, as a Putney resident, I've actually been really enjoying working on this Great Falls sort of project, in part because it includes Putney. And so I've learned a lot, actually, as someone who lives in this community, that like, actually, the Chamber of Commerce up here represents Putney. But that's not something we always associate with in terms of partnering north in our region. But it's kind of fun to look at those historical sort of ways that boundaries or regions get created, but then also to be very honest that this group feels really open to however what we create can serve the folks that are willing to come into the area for it, we're willing to serve. So we're not drawing some type of boundary around it that says in or out. It's more of how we're going to target our community building.
Right.
So that we can build the right kind of momentum and support for the projects in the vicinity that's easier for people to travel to. But if you're 45 minutes away and you need to have access to a commercial kitchen or some of this type of equipment that we're looking at seeing could be built cooperatively, then albeit come be a part of the local food matters story.
Absolutely.
Great. So I guess you have some events coming up, because you're the community organizer, right?
Yeah.
So what does that mean? When you say you're going to be the community organizer, what are you planning on doing, and what activities would that encompass?
Yeah, so from my perspective as a community organizer, what's most important when any sort of big visions and projects are getting laid out is that you're really talking to the community. And so that's a lot of legwork. It's a lot of communication. Janice is the field organizer, and weaving together all of these folks and people that are interested in this conversation. My role is to make sure that we also get the data that we need from these folks via surveys and focus groups. But ultimately, unlike a lot of, I'll say, standard ways this work gets done, the community gets tapped in a pretty slight way. And then by the end of it, you've got some data on a piece of paper, but you really don't have community buy-in in the same way that we're trying to generate our program. So I'm just really grateful to be a part of a team that's really looking at how we get out of extractive economics, really, and start looking at how we produce value in a way that can be carried forward by community members because they care and it produces enough value for them to want to give their time and energy to. Because very few things that are worthwhile get created without heart. So we're just trying to build the heart in alongside the data collection, basically, that we need to do as well to help the project have what it needs to assess what is actually needed by the community.
So you're going to be doing some community events. What would you say the target audience of those events is?
So our first event that we're doing is in a couple weeks on BF3F for October. And that's going to be an open house over at the commercial kitchen that's currently open and ready for use in the SVG building over on the island.
So that's right by the train station, that building that's right, sort of a little bit up the hill, but right across the street.
Exactly.
Okay.
You can see the Robertson paper mill site from there. Absolutely. Yes. So that's going to be an open house that's going to highlight the fact that, yay, we have a commercial kitchen here in Bellows Falls. And if you're a farmer or a food producer, it's available for you to use. So that open house is for anyone who's just curious about what does the commercial kitchen look like? What are the facilities that are available to me? That those folks should definitely come out and see us in October on the third Friday and maybe go to a couple galleries too. And then the other event that we're having is on October 26th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Bellows Falls Opera House in the Lower Theater. And that is a celebration of harvest and local food, where we are looking to engage everyone in the community that has an interest in building the local food infrastructure. We're looking for farmers, homesteaders, food producers, restaurateurs, anyone that really wants to make sure that when they look at their plate, they can say, yes, this is as local as possible. If that motivates you, you may want to come and see us at this event.
Plus, it'd be just great to taste good food. Right?
Absolutely.
We have to do something to make sure people will get out of their houses.
So right now we have confirmed that the Dumpling Nest, they make dumplings for the Brattleboro Farmers Market, they're confirmed as attending, and they're going to feed us with their delicious dumplings. And then we're also looking at incorporating some other local foods, restaurateurs, food producers to participate as well. If you are a local food producer and you have some sort of awesome deliciousness that you want to bring to this event, please reach out to us. We'd love to have you table at the event and share your local food product with us.
Yeah, that would be really good. There's going to be a movie too, or some sort of film presentation?
Yeah, we're planning to weave in some shorts, some film shorts that feature some topics that are appropriate for building more community around local foods. And I'll also add, these are trying times, and people are struggling often with different ways we're going to find solutions to the challenges we foresee in the future. And so we didn't want to do like a talking heads kind of an event, but we are going to have people facilitating different ways to listen to people's ideas, visions, concerns, what they're excited about building in the face of some systems breaking down at this point. As a local community, what do we want to do in the face of that breakdown? And so there will be a way that people can gather information and resources, but also engage with folks, and we'll be collecting some of their ideas as a way to influence what conversations happen in those focus groups that will be planned for November, as well as weaving in some of the results that we should already have from the surveys. And, those surveys will be ready this weekend. And so if you're a local food producer or manufacturer or food grower or homesteader, or you make local products that use locally grown items, ingredients, maybe a better word, then we really want folks to take that survey, because then that will also help us look at what questions we might be brainstorming on the 26th. And then again, that will fold into the focus group. So this is just an example of how we're really trying to build a grassroots effort here that is really incorporating what's real for people. The past solutions aren't really where it's at. So we need new ideas and new ways to collaborate. So we're really trying to facilitate that.
That's great.
And I should add here that we're also looking to incorporate the idea that everyone in our community should be well fed, and that we're all thankful when we sit down and enjoy our meals, but we want to make sure that everyone in the community is thankful and enjoying their meals. So if folks are a part of working on food access, that they're definitely welcome to the conversation as well.
Great. Because I guess it's timely, more timely than you can imagine, because it seems like, and not being I don't want to be a rumor monger or conspiracy, but it seems like you were saying systems are being threatened right now. Supply chains are being threatened. Safety nets are being threatened, and the idea of having a local, sustainable source of food is really important right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the collaborative nature of the team of people that are coming around this issue is really compelling to me, because when we talk about where different solutions haven't been working, where we see that they're succeeding is where good, healthy collaboration is happening. And so the folks that are growing food, some of them want to make products, but some of them don't. And some of them may actually grow more food if they knew it was going to produce value for somebody else. Because what they want to do is they want to grow food. They want to be on the soil. They don't want to talk to people. They don't want to deal with paperwork. They don't want to do with the sales side of it.
Yeah.
And so the more conversations we can have and the more broad spectrum of an audience we can include in this conversation, the more potential exists then for building in supports into the local food system, so that where one group of people might get tired because they actually just went through this part of the process, they can then show up to something like a food processing facility and say, here's all of my extra crop. Thank you for giving me whatever you're going to give me for that crop.
Right.
And thank you for carrying that forward so that then we have more stored, preserved food that can feed our community. These kinds of things, you know, there are models. We're not like recreating the wheel
Right.
here.
Oh, yeah.
But as a community, we actually have to create that wheel to make it work. The ideas don't do it. The ideas don't feed people materially. So we're
Right.
willing to really take it to the next level.
It's, and I just, as you were talking, it just seems to me it's almost a throwback to an earlier time when people, before we had trucks and they drove everything off to be processed and sold, and then drove it all back to be put in grocery stores. There were like local markets, and farmers brought their produce into the local market, and that's how it worked, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
And it was only later when we became
More industrialized.
more industrialized
Right.
that it sort of broke down. And it sounds like this is a sort of a return to that, because it's saying, here, we have a local place where a local farmer can either bring their produce in to be processed by someone else, or they can bring it in and deal with it themselves. That's just amazing. I'm excited, so.
That's
We
great.
are too.
Yeah,
We hope more people are too. It is going to take many hearts and hands.
yeah,
So.
yeah.
And as Marcella was talking about, we're not just looking for farmers, food producers, restaurateurs, homesteaders, because it takes a whole community. There are jobs that some folks are suited to that maybe others aren't. Like you were saying about farmers, maybe this one particular farmer doesn't want to make the salsa, but
Yeah.
maybe that person that makes the salsa doesn't want to do the marketing.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in just building the local foods community, period, you're a part of the conversation.
Right.
If you're an expert on financials, if you are an expert at brokering deals, like these are all things, if we're working in community, that we can help each other out with.
And how will that come together will that come together under the sustainable food group, or will it come together under the co-op, or
What is looking...
at long term? And I'm not holding you to.
Right.
like-
What wants to be built is the Great Falls Food Hub. So all of these folks would be working to create an infrastructure locally under the title Great Falls Food Hub.
Oh, okay, good, thank you.
Yeah, and then I'll just add to that one of the survey questions that we have actually is, if we are working cooperatively in different ways, what are the kinds of structures you would be most invested in as a part of our community? Because there are different structures and they do require a different amount of energy. Some people are very much for an employee-owned type of cooperative system. Other people might be kind of on the public grocery store side of the spectrum. So we want to find out actually what what are these structures? Because we all know something's not working with the structures we've got, and new ones need to be generated. What are the ones, and how committed are people to these different structures? Because that will actually affect how that question gets answered. And really, it's the community's energy that's going to have this be a viable, healthy structure or not. And so we feel like our job is to really help bring together those ideas and those values and those interests to see actually what the community is invested in doing together. And that will help then those that are looking at the actual infrastructure side of it and what gets created, how to do it in a way that keeps the community engaged and mobilized around it.
Well, we have about 4 minutes left, so I want to make sure we cover everything that we really needed to cover. I think we should go back and talk about the two events again. So the first one is on October 17th, and that's at the Food Hub building, and it will be a tour. Is that right?
It's an open house, yes.
An open house.
So people can come check out the commercial kitchen and all of the facilities that are available there for use currently.
And that's from 4 to 6
Yeah.
on the 17th.
It is a cool building. I'll
It is
just
a cool
add that
building.
in, and we'll probably have some snacks and some drinks for people too.
As an aside, how long has the commercial kitchen been open? Because I know it isn't recent. It was like over a couple
2019.
years.
Yeah, it actually opened in 2019.
I
Wow.
was going to guess 6 years, so.
Yeah, good job. And it is an incubator space. So the whole idea of that space is that new businesses that actually need that support can
Right.
try things out and then sort of move on. And so there really is been businesses that have moved in and out, like
Can you
Finale
share
Foods.
any of those? Is that, I mean, can you share that, like names of businesses that, I thought, wasn't Smoking Bowls there for a while?
And Sarah still is there with
Yeah,
Smoking Bowls.
okay, yeah.
Yep,
I mean,
she's-
they're great.
Yeah.
She still uses that commercial kitchen space. Marcella was just mentioning Finale Ferments.
Oh,
That company started at the commercial kitchen here in Bellows Falls, and then has grown the business to a level where they outgrew the space,
Wow, neat.
and now they're over at the Retreat Farm in Brattleboro.
Okay.
So that's an example
That's
of
a
a
perfect-
successful incubator story.
Right, right.
And that's what we're looking to provide for folks, is a chance to come and see the space so that they can then,
Say, oh, I have an idea. I could do this. Because I thought there was also an ice cream maker there for a while.
yes.
Yeah.
There was, and then also C&K Farms has been there and uses it for cooler and freezer storage, and Seven Balls Brewing is using it as
Oh,
cooler
neat.
storage. So it is getting use, and every time we talk about it, so far, more people want to use
Yeah,
it.
I
So
bet.
this is an example of where you have a facility, but then the peopling part of it
Yeah.
actually is a whole other job, and
Right.
so that's
It
where
seems
really
like it's been more word of mouth.
It has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but you might just blow up now.
That would be wonderful for Bellows Falls.
It
Yeah.
would be. It would be. So the next event is the tasting and at the
The
at
community
opera.
celebration.
Yes,
Yeah,
community
the
celebration.
Opera House, yes.
And that's on the 26th
That's right, from 4
at
to
the
6.
Opera House from 4 to 6. So that's
In the
great.
lower theater.
In the lower theater. Okay.
Yes.
Important point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll just stress that the survey will be out this weekend, and so really that is a primary driver of our public engagement project,
Okay.
is to make sure that we are reaching out. And this first survey is not really necessarily for the whole community. It really is sort of targeting farmers and growers and food producers.
So will you be pushing that out then to those specific people, or
Yes.
can people get on a website and pick it up, or
Both.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
what's the website?
It'll be up at the Sustainable Valley Group website, and we have, you'll be starting to see some flyers around town, and there's a QR code there where you can
Okay.
click on it and then take the survey. And we're going to be getting that invitation out via email and other channels as well for people to be able to take the survey.
Great. Anything else you'd like to add? No?
Thank you so much.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. You guys were a lot of fun. I hope you'll come back and give us an update,
Update.
maybe between the two events, and say, or I guess I can't do that, we're already scheduled, but maybe after the two events,
That sounds
before the
wonderful.
November.
Before the focus groups, I think that would be really good, because then we can actually give you some feedback on what it is that we've actually learned, so we can feed the feed with the feedback.
Nicely done, nicely done. And with that, we're going to say goodbye. We'll see you next week. This is The Feed. Goodbye, community.
My and